Immigration and Customs Enforcement, step out of the vehicle now.
I'm a police officer. Badge number 4729. I'm on duty.
We've received reports. We need to see identification and proof of citizenship.
My identification is on my chest. I'm in a marked police vehicle.
This decorated police officer was detained by federal agents while in full uniform, on duty, without anyone bothering to check his ID. What happened next exposed a system that judges you before it sees you. Before we continue, let me take this opportunity to thank you so much for supporting our channel. Just choosing to watch our video means a lot to us. Before we go any further, tell us, where are you watching from? Drop your city or country below, and don't forget to like and subscribe if this is your first time here. Officer Terrence Blake had been on the force for 28 years. 53 years old, father of 2, decorated veteran of the department. He'd seen everything, handled everything, but nothing prepared him for what was about to happen on a Tuesday afternoon in downtown Phoenix. He was parked outside a convenience store on his regular patrol route, squad car clearly marked, uniform pressed and clean, badge gleaming on his chest. He'd just finished writing up a report when 2 black SUVs pulled up behind him, blocking his vehicle. 4 men in tactical gear stepped out. No greeting, no explanation. "Step out of the vehicle," one of them said. Terrence looked up, confused. "Excuse me? Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Step out of the vehicle now." Terrence's mind went blank for a second. He looked down at his uniform, his badge, then back at the agents. "I'm a police officer," he said slowly, like maybe they couldn't see what was directly in front of them. "We need to verify your status. Step out." Terrence felt something twist in his chest. Not fear, not anger yet, just disbelief. Pure, cold disbelief. He opened the door and stepped out, hands visible, calm, professional. 28 years of training kicked in, even as his dignity was being stripped away. "I'm Officer Terrence Blake, Phoenix PD, badge number 4729. I'm on duty." The lead agent didn't even look at his badge. "We've received reports of individuals impersonating law enforcement. We need to see identification and proof of citizenship." Terrence stared at him. "My identification is literally on my chest, my badge, my name tag. I'm in a marked police vehicle." "Anyone can get a uniform," the agent said flatly. That's when it hit him. They weren't going to listen. They'd already decided who he was before they even approached him. A black man in a cop uniform wasn't a cop to them. He was suspicious. He was criminal. He was guilty until proven innocent. "My wallet is in my pocket," Terrence said, keeping his voice steady. "I'm going to reach for it slowly." "Keep your hands where we can see them," another agent barked, hand moving toward his weapon. Terrence froze. His own hand had been moving toward his own weapon out of instinct before he caught himself. This was insane. He was being treated like a threat, in his own uniform, in his own city. A small crowd was forming, people with phones out, recording. A woman shouted from across the street, "That's Officer Blake. He's been working this beat for years." The agents ignored her. One of them grabbed Terrence's arm, actually grabbed him, put a hand on a sworn officer, and started patting him down like he was a common criminal. Terrence's jaw tightened. Every instinct screamed at him to resist, to assert his authority. But he knew better. He'd seen how these situations ended. He'd been the one called to scenes where things went wrong. So he stood there, hands slightly raised, silent, letting them violate every professional courtesy, every basic human dignity. They found his wallet, took out his driver's license, his police ID, even his department credit card. Examined each one like they were checking for forgeries. "This could be fake," one agent muttered. Terrence almost laughed. Almost, but there was nothing funny about this. Nothing at all. "Call my precinct," Terrence said, voice tight now. "Call my captain, Captain Morris. He'll verify who I am. We'll determine what calls need to be made." That's when Terrence realized they had no intention of verifying anything quickly. This was about power, about control, about making him feel exactly what they wanted him to feel. Small, powerless, less than.
The video cameras kept recording. The crowd kept growing, and Officer Terrence Blake stood there in full uniform, being detained by federal agents who couldn't be bothered to see past the color of his skin. Do you think this could happen in your city? Drop your thoughts below. The lead agent was on his radio now, speaking in codes Terrence couldn't quite make out, but he caught enough. Subject claiming to be local PD. Verification needed. Stand by. Subject, not officer, not colleague. Subject. Terrence's dispatcher came over his own radio. Unit 47, what's your status? We're showing you stopped, but no traffic report filed. Before Terrence could respond, one of the agents reached into his patrol car and turned off his radio. Just reached in and shut it off like it was nothing. Like Terrence wasn't a sworn officer with the authority to stop them from doing exactly that. "Hey," Terrence said, voice rising despite himself. "You can't." "We are conducting a federal investigation. Don't interfere." Interfere? With what? His own detention? Another black SUV arrived, 2 more agents. This was becoming a scene now, a spectacle. Terrence could see people across the street shaking their heads. Some were angry, some looked scared. One older woman had tears in her eyes. She knew what this was. They all knew. A young man, maybe 19 or 20, stepped closer with his phone held high. "This is messed up. He's a cop. Y'all can see he's a cop." "Step back, sir," an agent warned. "I'm on the sidewalk. I got a right to record." The agent moved toward him anyway, and Terrence found his voice. "Hey, you can't." "We are conducting a federal investigation. Don't interfere." Interfere? With what? His own detention? Another black SUV arrived, 2 more agents. This was becoming a scene now, a spectacle. Terrence could see people across the street shaking their heads. Some were angry, some looked scared. One older woman had tears in her eyes. She knew what this was. They all knew. A young man, maybe 19 or 20, stepped closer with his phone held high. "This is messed up. He's a cop. Y'all can see he's a cop." "Step back, sir," an agent warned. "I'm on the sidewalk. I got a right to record." The agent moved toward him anyway, and Terrence found his voice. "Hey, you can't." "We are conducting a federal investigation. Don't interfere." Interfere? With what? His own detention? Another black SUV arrived, 2 more agents. This was becoming a scene now, a spectacle. Terrence could see people across the street shaking their heads. Some were angry, some looked scared. One older woman had tears in her eyes. She knew what this was. They all knew. A young man, maybe 19 or 20, stepped closer with his phone held high. "This is messed up. He's a cop. Y'all can see he's a cop." "Step back, sir," an agent warned. "I'm on the sidewalk. I got a right to record." The agent moved toward him anyway, and Terrence found his voice. "Hey, you can't." "We are conducting a federal investigation. Don't interfere." Interfere? With what? His own detention? The video cameras kept recording. The crowd kept growing, and Officer Terrence Blake stood there in full uniform, being detained by federal agents who couldn't be bothered to see past the color of his skin. Do you think this could happen in your city? Drop your thoughts below. The lead agent was on his radio now, speaking in codes Terrence couldn't quite make out, but he caught enough. Subject claiming to be local PD. Verification needed. Stand by. Subject, not officer, not colleague. Subject. Terrence's dispatcher came over his own radio. Unit 47, what's your status? We're showing you stopped, but no traffic report filed. Before Terrence could respond, one of the agents reached into his patrol car and turned off his radio. Just reached in and shut it off like it was nothing. Like Terrence wasn't a sworn officer with the authority to stop them from doing exactly that. "Hey," Terrence said, voice rising despite himself. "You can't." "We are conducting a federal investigation. Don't interfere." Interfere? With what? His own detention? Another black SUV arrived, 2 more agents. This was becoming a scene now, a spectacle. Terrence could see people across the street shaking their heads. Some were angry, some looked scared. One older woman had tears in her eyes. She knew what this was. They all knew. A young man, maybe 19 or 20, stepped closer with his phone held high. "This is messed up! He's a cop! Y'all can see he's a cop!" "Step back, sir," an agent warned. "I'm on the sidewalk. I got a right to record." The agent moved toward him anyway, and Terrence found his voice. "Hey, you can't—" "We are conducting a federal investigation. Don't interfere." Interfere? With what? His own detention? Another black SUV arrived, 2 more agents. This was becoming a scene now, a spectacle. Terrence could see people across the street shaking their heads. Some were angry, some looked scared. One older woman had tears in her eyes. She knew what this was. They all knew. A young man, maybe 19 or 20, stepped closer with his phone held high. "This is messed up! He's a cop! Y'all can see he's a cop!" "Step back, sir," an agent warned. "I'm on the sidewalk. I got a right to record." The agent moved toward him anyway, and Terrence found his voice. "Hey, you can't—" "We are conducting a federal investigation. Don't interfere." Interfere? With what? His own detention? Another black SUV arrived, 2 more agents. This was becoming a scene now, a spectacle. Terrence could see people across the street shaking their heads. Some were angry, some looked scared. One older woman had tears in her eyes. She knew what this was. They all knew. A young man, maybe 19 or 20, stepped closer with his phone held high. "This is messed up! He's a cop! Y'all can see he's a cop!" "Step back, sir," an agent warned. "I'm on the sidewalk. I got a right to record." The agent moved toward him anyway, and Terrence found his voice. "Hey, you can't—" "We are conducting a federal investigation. Don't interfere." Interfere? With what? His own detention?
The lead agent's jaw tightened. He knew it too, but he couldn't back down now. Not without looking weak. Not without admitting this entire stop was based on nothing but assumptions and prejudice. So, he doubled down. "We have reason to believe this uniform may have been obtained illegally. We're taking him in for processing." The words landed like a bomb. Taking him in. Processing. Like Terrence was a criminal. Like his entire life's work meant nothing. Terrence's hands trembled, not from fear, from rage, from the sheer indignity of it all. "You're making a mistake," he said quietly. Dangerously quiet. "That'll be determined at the facility." Jamie stepped forward. "You're not taking him anywhere. Captain Morris is 2 minutes out. You wait." The agents exchanged glances. They knew this was spiraling, but pride and protocol and whatever twisted logic had started this mess kept them locked in. And Terrence Blake stood there, a decorated officer being treated like a criminal while the whole world watched. What would you do in this situation? Let us know below. Captain Morris arrived like a storm. His vehicle barely stopped before he was out, striding toward the scene with the kind of authority that made even federal agents pause. "What in God's name is happening here?" Morris wasn't asking. He was demanding. The lead agent straightened. "Captain, we're conducting a routine—" "Routine!" Morris cut him off. "You're detaining one of my officers, in uniform, on duty, without contacting the department. There's nothing routine about this." "We received reports." "What reports? Show me the reports." The agent hesitated. Just for a second. But that second told Terrence everything. There were no reports. Or if there were, they were so thin, so baseless, that even the agent knew how bad this looked. Turned Terrence. The captain's face was hard, but his eyes showed something else. Concern. Maybe even guilt. "Blake, you all right?" "No, sir," Terrence said honestly. I'm not. Morris looked at the agents surrounding his officer, at the crowd filming, at every moment captured on multiple phones. His expression darkened. You've been recording his license, his badge number, patting him down, all without verifying his identity through the proper channels? You know we have a direct line for this. You know the protocol. We were following our procedures. Your procedures? Morris pulled out his phone. I'm calling your field office supervisor right now. We're going to have a conversation about how your procedures led to the illegal detention of a police officer. That word, illegal, it shifted something in the air. The agents exchanged looks again. The lead agent's radio crackled. Someone on the other end was talking fast, probably watching the live streams, probably seeing their agency's reputation crumbling in real time. The agent stepped away to respond. His body language changed. Shoulders dropped slightly. Hand rubbed across his face. When he came back, his voice was different, quieter. We've confirmed your identity through dispatch. You're free to go. Just like that. Free to go. Like he'd been legitimately detained. Like they had any right to hold him in the first place. Terrence didn't move. That's it? The matter is resolved. Resolved? Terrence's voice cracked. Not from weakness. From the sheer weight of what had just happened. You violated my rights, you humiliated me, you treated me like a criminal in front of my community, and now it's just resolved? The agent had no answer. Or maybe he did, but knew better not to say it with dozens of cameras watching. Captain Morris put his hand on Terrence's shoulder. Blake, let's go. We'll handle this through proper channels.
But Terrence wasn't ready to leave. Not yet. He looked at the lead agent directly. You never even checked my ID. Not really. You decided who I was the moment you saw me. That's the truth, isn't it? The agent's silence was answer enough. Jamie was still recording. The crowd was still watching. And somewhere out there, thousands of people were sharing this video. #Officer Blake was already trending. The comments were flooding in. This is America. Even in uniform, we're still targets. 28 years of service and still not seen as human? Terrence got back in his patrol car. His hands were shaking now, really shaking. He gripped the steering wheel to steady them. Morris leaned in through the window. Take the rest of the day. Hell, take the rest of the week. We'll talk tomorrow. I'm fine, Captain. No, you're not. And that's okay. Go home, Blake. Be with your family. Terrence wanted to argue, wanted to finish his shift, wanted to prove that this hadn't broken him. But his body betrayed him. The adrenaline was crashing. The reality was setting in. He'd been violated. Not by criminals, not by gangs or drug dealers or any of the threats he trained to face, by federal agents. By people who were supposed to be on the same side. Jamie tapped on his window. I got everything recorded, Terry. Every second. They can't bury this. Terrence nodded, not trusting himself to speak. The ICE vehicles pulled away. No apologies, no accountability, just gone, like they hadn't just destroyed a man's dignity in broad daylight. The crowd slowly dispersed, but not before several people approached Terrence's car. An elderly black man, a young Latina woman, a white teenager. Different faces, same message. We saw what they did. That was wrong. Thank you for your service. Their kindness almost broke him more than the agent's cruelty had. Terrence drove away slowly, professional to the end. But inside, something had shattered. Not his commitment to the job, not his integrity. Something deeper. His belief that the badge would protect him, that his service mattered more than his skin. By the time he pulled into his driveway, the video had 500,000 views. By dinner, it was on national news. By midnight, everyone knew Terrence Blake's name. But nobody knew what it cost him to become a headline. Have you ever felt invisible despite everything you've accomplished?
Share your story below. Terrence's phone wouldn't stop ringing. News outlets, civil rights organizations, lawyers, even the mayor's office. Everyone wanted a statement. Everyone wanted a piece of his pain. He ignored them all. His wife Angela sat across from him at the kitchen table. She'd watched the video a dozen times, each viewing making her angrier, making her more afraid. 28 years, she said softly. 28 years you've worn that badge, and it didn't matter. Terrence stared at his coffee, cold now. He hadn't taken a sip. I keep thinking about all the times I told Marcus to respect the police, Angela continued. Their son was 17, about to graduate high school. She told him the badge means something, that if he's ever in trouble, find an officer, they'll help you. She laughed, but there was no humor in it. What do I tell him now? Terrence had no answer, because she was right. The badge hadn't protected him. His uniform hadn't mattered. His decades of service, his commendations, his spotless record, none of it had been enough to make those agents see him as anything other than a threat. The doorbell rang. Again. Probably another reporter. Angela went to check. Came back with Captain Morris. Sorry to intrude. I wanted to check on you personally. Terrence gestured to a chair. Morris sat, looking older than usual, tired.
ICE released a statement, Morris said. They're calling it a misunderstanding, saying their agents followed protocol for verifying identities in the field. Protocol? Terrence's voice was hollow. They turned off my radio, blocked my car, refused to call the precinct. That's protocol? No, it's not, and the chief is livid. We're filing a formal complaint with their oversight division. The union's backing you fully, and there's talk of a federal civil rights investigation. Angela leaned forward. Talk. That's all it ever is. Talk and investigations and statements. But what actually changes? Morris didn't have an answer for her either. The media wants you, Terry, he said instead. National news. They want you to tell your story. My story? Terrence finally looked up. My story is that I've given almost 30 years to this job. I've bled for this city. I've missed birthdays and anniversaries and my daughter's graduation because I was out there protecting people. And none of it mattered when federal agents decided I looked suspicious. That's exactly why you should speak out. No, Terrence's voice was firm. Because if I do, I become the story. The angry black cop. The victim. That's all people will see. Not the thousands of calls I've responded to, not the lives I've saved, just this one moment where I was powerless. Morris was quiet for a moment. You're not powerless, Terry. You have a voice. People are listening. They're watching a spectacle. Tomorrow there will be another video, another outrage, and everyone will forget Officer Blake existed. But even as he said it, Terrence knew it wasn't quite true, because his phone kept buzzing. Messages from other officers, from people in the community, from complete strangers across the country. I saw what happened to you. Same thing happened to my brother. Thank you for your service. You deserve better. Don't let them break you. That last one stuck with him. Don't let them break you. His daughter, Simone, came home from college that evening. 22 years old, studying social work. She'd driven 6 hours the moment she saw the video. She hugged him without saying anything, just held him. And that's when Terrence finally let himself feel it. All of it. The humiliation, the anger, the bone-deep exhaustion of constantly having to prove he belonged. I'm tired, baby. I'm so tired. I know, Daddy. Later that night, alone in his study, Terrence looked at his uniform hanging in the closet. He'd pressed it that morning. Routine. Ritual. Pride. Now it felt like a costume. Like something that was supposed to protect him, but had become a target instead. His phone lit up with a news alert. The ICE supervisor had been placed on administrative leave pending investigation. One of the agents had been reassigned. The agency was promising reforms. Empty words. He'd heard them before. After every shooting, every scandal, every moment of injustice caught on camera. Reforms and reviews and promises. But nothing ever really changed. Marcus knocked on the door, came in without waiting for an answer, sat down next to his father. "You going back?" he asked. Terrence looked at his son, saw himself at 17, full of hope and belief that you could make a difference, that the system worked if you worked hard enough. "I don't know," he admitted. "Would you want me to become a cop after this?" The question gutted him, because Terrence had always been proud of his work, had always thought maybe Marcus would follow in his footsteps, continue the legacy. But now he couldn't honestly say yes. "I want you to be whatever makes you happy," Terrence said carefully, "and whatever keeps you safe." Marcus nodded slowly, understanding what his father wasn't saying, that even the badge couldn't guarantee safety. Not for them. "I can't promise you it will. I spent 28 years believing my service would speak louder than prejudice. I was wrong. The badge doesn't make you immune to injustice. It doesn't erase your skin color or your accent or whatever else people use to decide who belongs and who doesn't." He paused, gathering his thoughts. "But here's what I know. This job matters. Not because of the uniform or the authority or the respect you think you'll get. It matters because of what you do with it. Every call you answer with integrity. Every person you treat with dignity. Every time you choose to see the human being in front of you instead of your assumptions about them." His voice grew stronger. "What happened to me was wrong. But it doesn't define this profession. You do. Each of you. By the choices you make every single day. So when you put on that uniform, remember this. You're not just representing yourself or your department. You're representing every officer who came before you and everyone who'll come after. Make it mean something." The applause that followed wasn't polite. It was thunderous. After the ceremony, a young black officer approached him. Couldn't have been more than 23. "Officer Blake, I almost quit the academy after I saw what happened to you. But I stayed because of something my grandmother said. She told me that change doesn't come from walking away. It comes from walking in and refusing to leave." Terrence smiled. Really smiled. For the first time in weeks. "Your grandmother's a wise woman. She also said to tell you thank you for not giving up." That conversation stayed with Terrence because he realized something. The video hadn't just shown his humiliation. It had shown his dignity, his professionalism under pressure, his refusal to respond to disrespect with disrespect. Maybe that mattered more than he thought. The lawsuit settled 8 months later. Undisclosed amount, but substantial. Policy changes, mandatory training, the usual outcomes. But the real change was smaller, quieter. It was in the young officers who joined the force determined to be better. It was in the conversations happening in departments across the country about accountability and respect. It was in the community members who saw him on patrol and stopped to shake his hand. Terrence Blake didn't get the justice he deserved that day on the street. But he got something else. He got to choose how his story ended. He chose to stay, to serve, to prove that one moment of injustice wouldn't define 30 years of dedication. Some days were harder than others. Some days he still felt the weight of those agents' hands on him, the disbelief in their eyes, the violation of his dignity. But then he'd respond to a call, help someone in crisis, make a difference in a life that needed it. And he'd remember why he started this job in the first place. Not for recognition, not for respect, but because it needed to be done, and someone had to do it. Officer Terrence Blake finished his career with 32 years of service, 2 more commendations, countless lives touched, and a story that reminded everyone that the uniform doesn't change who you are. You change what the uniform means. Do you think Officer Blake made the right choice by staying on the force? What would you have done in his position? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story moved you, hit that like button and subscribe. We share real stories about real people navigating impossible situations, because sometimes the most important stories are the ones that make us uncomfortable.
the ones that force us to see the world through someone else's eyes. Thanks for watching.